We're gonna take it down. We're gonna take it down. Take it down. Take it down. We got a better plane to go. Tax the billionaires. We got a better plane to go. Tax the billionaires. We got a better plane to go. Tax the billionaires. Tax the billionaires. Take it down, take it down, take it down, take it down.
Oh, the next speaker is Jessica Ting, who's the AFT in Massachusetts. So let's give it up for Jessica Ting.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Tang and I am a Boston Public School teacher serving as president of the 25,000 member strong American Federation of Teachers Massachusetts. Here to tell you a little bit about the cuts that are happening to our schools. So if you haven't seen in the news yet, over the last few weeks, we've already seen over $120 million just in Massachusetts alone already get cut. We're talking about everything from grants that help create teacher pipelines so that we can face the teacher shortages that we're already having in our schools. We're talking about grants from USDA that enable districts to actually buy from local farmers to provide healthy meals for students in schools. We're talking about also funding cuts from the EPA that was providing funding for electric buses so we can stop our reliance on fossil fuels. These things, again, are already happening. And the Department of Education has already cut close to 13,000 workers. That's close to half their workforce. And you're going to be hearing in a minute from Ariel, too, who's one of those federal workers who was cut. And she can tell you about all the important work that the U.S. Department of Education does. But the funding, again, has already been cut. And why? To fund tax cuts for billionaires. It is coming at the expense of our most vulnerable students. And just this last week, there was a memo from the federal government too that said that they were going to withhold funds from the federal government. I'm talking about $287 million of Title I funds in Massachusetts. That's $42 million here just in Boston alone. Title I funds provide funds for low-income students. That is what they're trying to do, is take away funds from low-income students to try to get districts in Massachusetts to not have diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
Hey.
It makes no sense. Massachusetts is actually #1 in the nation in public education on many measures. And it is because of our diversity, equity, inclusion that we do so well. And it is hypocritical. The whole explanation for dismantling the Department of Education was to say, oh, we want to return control back to local and state governments. We already have control from the state and local government. And so now then to say, okay, but we're going to withhold funds if you don't do what we say from the federal government, that is completely hypocritical.
Yep.
And what this tells us is that it's simply an abuse of power.
Yep.
That's what this all is. The fights that we're seeing in public education, in higher ed, and I apologize, I have to leave shortly because we're having another rally in Harvard Square right now to say that Harvard can't capitulate. Because, and again, it is about the abuse of power and taking down the pillars of democracy, including education and higher ed institutions. It's the military, it's the press. They're trying to take it all down as a part of the playbook for autocracy. So we've got to stand up and fight back. Yep. And we've got to continue organizing and talking to people who may not be paying attention or reading the news, because it is going to take a massive movement of nonviolent, cooperative, non-resistance to fight back and win our democracy back. Yeah. So thank you all for continuing to show up, to speak up. And when they say cut back, we say, they say cut back, we say, we say, we gotta keep fighting, everyone. Thank you again for being here. Great, and it is my pleasure to introduce one of the workers on the front line. The federal workers' attacks are again part of the plan to erode civil servants who have been upholding our democratic government. And when I hear the federal workers speak, they never talk about themselves. They're always talking about, well, what's going to happen to the students I'm serving? What's going to happen to the people who are depending on Social Security? What's going to happen to the people who are depending on Medicaid? What is going to be happening to the people who are depending on their services? That's what they talk about all the time. And so it really is my pleasure to introduce to you Ariel, who's one of the federal workers in the Department of Education whose job was illegally taken away and that she was fired from.
All right, Ariel.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming here today in the cold and the wet. I'm very proud to be here with all of you in solidarity. I'm a former federal worker. I'm a proud union member of AFGE Local 252. I'm also here as a member of the Federal Unionists Network, a group of federal union members and allies that are working to strengthen labor unions. I'm speaking here today because about a month ago, I was fired by Elon Musk. Before all of this happened, I was just starting my career as a civil rights lawyer. I worked at the U.S. Department of Education in the Office for Civil Rights, and it was my job to investigate discrimination in schools. My job was to protect your kids from things like racism, sexism, homophobia, and disability discrimination. The work that I did was important. Yeah. But last month, Elon Musk and Doge decided to clean house and get rid of the annoying people like me who care about silly things like keeping kids safe. They fired about 50% of the Department of Education.
Shame.
And my office was entirely shut down. Everyone was fired.
Shame.
From other speakers, Elon and Doge are betting the federal government to line their own pockets. But I want to tell you a little bit more about the impact of these cuts on all of us and our civil rights. The federal government is being destroyed. But the administration won't let the people who are left to do their jobs in peace. Instead, they weaponize civil rights and use them against us. The Trump administration is targeting schools for doing diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Department of Education now says that DEI programs in schools violate Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Title VI is a law that's supposed to protect students from racial discrimination, but this administration is twisting and corrupting the law until it is barely recognizable. The Trump Education Department has opened dozens of investigations against schools around the country because of their commitment to fighting racism and discrimination. And they're doing the same thing in the private sector by targeting businesses with DEI hiring policies. Your civil rights are meant to protect you. They're being weaponized against you. They're also using our belief in this country's right to free speech against us. We all know about how Rumesa Ozturk was kidnapped in broad daylight for the crime of writing an op-ed in a student newspaper. This country loves to tell everyone about how much freedom we have and how great we are because of our free speech. But now they're using the right to free speech as a trap. Use your free speech to say whatever you want, but if you say the wrong thing, you might get kidnapped by masked men and thrown into a van and taken to jail. Our civil rights are being weaponized against us. We've been lured into a false sense of security, and for many years, we've believed that our rights will be there for us no matter what. But that isn't true. Your rights only exist if you are willing to fight for them.
Right.
Many universities and businesses have forgotten the power that they have to stand up and fight back, and I know Jessica is on her way to remind Harvard of the power that they have. Many of these universities and businesses are just rolling over and doing what Trump and Musk tell them to do as if that will save them. But all of us here are still fighting. We are willing to fight for our civil rights. We know how much power we have, and we can use that power to send a message to Elon Musk and to everyone else in this stupid fascist government.
Thank you. Let's give it up for Ariel. Donald Trump and Elon Musk, we'll fight you from dawn to dusk. Donald Trump and Elon Musk, we'll fight you from dawn to dusk. Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Who point you from down to us? Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Who point you from down to us? Donald Trump, he thinks he's cute. Impeach, convict, and prosecute. He thinks he's cute. Impeach, convict, and prosecute. Donald Trump thinks he's cute.
And prosecute. Donald Trump, he thinks he's cute. Impeach, convict, and prosecute.
Next up, we have Vocal and the band doing "We Shall Not Be Ruled."
We shall not be ruled. We shall not be ruled like a free standing united. We shall not be ruled. Donald Trump was elected. We shall not be ruled. Musk was not elected. We shall not be ruled like a free standing united. We shall not be ruled. Donald Trump is not a king. We shall not be ruled. Donald Trump is not a king. We shall not be ruled like a free we shall not be ruled. We shall not be ruled. We shall not be ruled like a free standing. We shall not be protecting democracy. We shall not be ruled.
Okay, so next up is actually Carmen Allen. Let's give it up for Carmen. She's a veteran, a senior, a leader in the tenant movement in Jamaica Plain. So Carmen. Carmen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carmen Allen. I'm an American mother, grandmother, disabled veteran, and senior citizen. Today, I stand before you to address a matter of profound urgency, one that strikes at the heart of our nation's values and responsibility. Is this better? Okay. By August 2025, an estimated 83,000 veterans will lose their jobs due to sweeping cuts within the Department of Veteran Affairs. This is not just a statistic, it's a crisis that will reverberate through the lives of those who have served our country with honor and sacrifice, like me. Thank you for your service. Veterans are not just employees, they're the backbone of the very services that support their fellow service members. These cuts will devastate veteran services, delaying benefits, straining claims processing, and leaving countries without the care and support they've earned. The ripple effects will be felt in every corner of our society, from healthcare to education, and even in the very fabric of our communities. But the challenges don't end there. Recent tampering with Social Security Administration databases and software poses an additional threat, this time to senior citizens like me. These systems are lifelines for millions of Americans, ensuring timely access to benefits to sustain their livelihoods. Any disruption in these systems risks plunging our seniors into uncertainty and hardship, undermining the trust they placed in us. We must ask ourselves, What kind of nation do we want to be? Are we willing to turn our backs on those who have given so much for our freedom? Are we prepared to jeopardize the security of our seniors who spent their lives building the foundation?
No.
The answer has to be a resounding
No.
we have a moral obligation to protect and support our veterans and seniors. This is not a partisan issue. It's a human issue.
Right.
It's about honoring our commitments, upholding our principles. All this defines us as a nation. Let's come together and demand action.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Carmen. Elon Musk, we all deplore. Stop his war against the poor. Elon Musk, we all deplore. Stop his war against the poor. Elon Musk, we all deplore. Stop his war against the poor. Elon Musk, we all deplore. Stop his war against the poor. Okay. Next up is Harris Gruman, the Executive Director of the SEIU State Council.
Hey, everybody, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm here from SEIU. That's the Service Employees International Union, representing 120,000 workers, mostly low-wage workers in the state of Massachusetts. 80,000 of those workers, by the way, do direct care. Do you know what I mean by direct care? I mean hands-on care in the group homes for mental health care, substance use care, developmental disabilities, nursing homes, home care for the elderly and people with disabilities. They make very low wages. They work very hard. They do real services. These workers are mostly women and mostly people of color. And what they want is they're struggling to get into the middle class in this country. Now, Elon Musk and Donald Trump do not want to grow the middle class. They want to shrink the middle class in America, okay? And how do we know that? They're going after one of the biggest supports for the middle class, which is the progressive income tax in America. Because of the progressive income tax, we ask rich people to pay some more so there is enough for all, okay? They want to eviscerate the progressive income tax. They're going to do $5.5 trillion in cuts to the progressive income tax, okay? To give tax cuts to the richest people in America, okay? That's going to mean they have to do some other things. And one of the things they're going to do is cut what that pays for. And one of the biggest buckets that is paid for by the progressive income tax is Medicaid, health and human services. And when they cut $1 trillion to health and human services, that means here in Massachusetts, we will lose billions of dollars of money for what? For direct care, like I just described, the most essential kind of care, all right? So this is an outrage already, but you might say, well, they're very anti-tax. They're very philosophical about it. But that's not true. They're against taxes for the rich. They're for taxes on working people. And we know that because of the tariffs. The tariffs are a big tax. Every time you go to buy something, you will pay the tax that those tariffs require. And you want to hear cynical? Here's what Donald Trump said when the news asked him, what are you going to do with all that money from the tariffs? And he said, I'm going to give even more tax cuts to the wealthy. Okay? So this is what it's for, right? Okay, to make it even worse, there's a whole group right up at the tippy top, like Elon Musk, who don't even pay taxes, right? They've been getting away with that for decades. They pay, Tesla paid 0% several years, and other years paid a pittance on all the money they were making. Of course, we're going to try to take some of that back right here today, right? Because we want the stocks to go down and say, okay, you don't pay your taxes, then you don't deserve that profit, okay? So here in Massachusetts, the Raise Up Massachusetts coalition of labor and community and faith groups is fighting for a tax on these billionaire multinational corporations who avoid paying taxes by putting the profits they make in Massachusetts into tax havens like the Cayman Islands, Liechtenstein, places where they don't have to pay anything, even though they make the money here. And we're saying time to pay that. It's called corporate fair share. Every time you talk to a state politician, pass corporate fair share, okay? That's very important. It'll raise hundreds of millions of dollars to restore the cuts to direct care that these guys are sending to us to give their friends tax cuts. So we're flipping the script, okay, on Elon Musk. He wants to cut essential care for people to pay for tax cuts for billionaires. And we want to tax billionaire, multinational tax avoiders to protect the care of all our people. Thank you. To do it. Okay. I don't know, but I've been told their tariff tax is getting old. I don't know, but I've been told their tariff tax is getting old. Okay, we say 1, 2, 3, 4 cutbacks we deplore. Well, they actually Medicaid cuts we deplore. Got to fill in the blanks, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4 Medicare cuts we deplore. 2, 4, 6, 8 tax the rich. It's not too late. 1, 2, 3, 4 states have got it done. 8. It's the rich. It's not too late. Right here in Massachusetts, folks. Corporate fair share down with Tesla and Musk. Perfect. All right. Yes. Oh, well, wait, I got to introduce something, then we'll talk. No, I'll come right over. Okay. So our next speaker, very well received speaker too, much expected. Also from SEIU, local 888, one of the 4, locals of my council, Addie Bernard.
We're here today because Elon Musk and his billionaire buddies are stealing from our communities, from our children, from our elderly, and from the veterans that have fought to protect this nation. All because they don't want to pay their taxes. Then you haven't been paying attention. Are you guys angry yet? I said, are you fucking angry? I know I am. Because every facet of our lives is going to be damaged because of a mean agency employing children has been gutting our government that we have been funding with our taxes. Congress cut tens of thousands of jobs from the federal government. They've cut billions of dollars in state funding for schools and veterans. We are going to see mass layoffs continue all the way down to our most vulnerable. Elon wants to make sure we are so economically insecure that we can't fight back. They're stripping away programs that we paid for, so him and his tax-dodging buddies can pay even less. I know this is a scary time, and many people are asking, what can we do? Because we know that the fight continues after we leave this place. This fight will be happening every day until we, the people, get the justice that we deserve. So how do we continue to fight back? We invest in our communities. We band together. We rely on each other, and we volunteer to help each other out. It can look like grocery shopping for your elderly neighbor. It can be organizing a clothing swap. And it can be as simple as filming an incident from your apartment window. I want you to look at everyone else around you. This right here is your community. Get to know each other. We have a hard road ahead of us, but together we can resist. Together we can fight. And together we can win. We say fight. We say fight back. We say fight. We say they say cut back. We say fight back. They say cut back. We say fight back. They say cut back. We say fight back. We say cut back. We say fight back. They 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 say cut back. We say fight back.
Okay, this last song we're gonna teach the crowd. It's pretty easy. It's roll the union on. But what? Yes. Well, the tune is roll the union on, but the words are roll the movement on. And so we're gonna go. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the movement on. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the movement on. And if Musk is in the way, we're gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll the movement on. Gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the movement on. If Trump is in the way, we're gonna roll right over him. We're gonna roll the movement on. Gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the movement on. If Tesla's in the way, we're gonna roll right over it. We're gonna roll the movement on. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the movement on. If tariffs are in the way, we're gonna roll right over them. We're gonna roll over them. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the movement on.